At first glance, Robert the doll appears to be an ordinary doll that any child would play with. However, when you look closer, you notice how unusual he really appears. But nothing compared to the terrifying story this doll tells. In 1800, Thomas Otto and his family moved to a mansion in Key West, Florida. They hired a nanny to care for their son Eugene. The woman gave the boy a life-size doll named Robert. The Ottos eventually fired the nanny because Mrs. Otto witnessed the woman practicing black magic.
The doll was given to Jean by a Bahamian girl, and they think that she put some type of voodoo spell on it. And the doll took a bizarre effect on Jean. And everywhere he went, whenever he got in trouble for things as a child, he said, "I didn't do it, Robert did it." And he blamed the doll. This went on for his entire life.
Eugene and Robert developed a close bond until their relationship took an eerie turn. Eugene's parents often heard him talking to the doll and claimed that the doll appeared to be responding. There are neighbor accounts of seeing the doll moving from window to window when the family was out. The Ottos swore that the doll would emit a terrifying giggle and caught glimpses of it running from one room to another. At nighttime, Eugene would scream, and his parents would find him frightened in bed with the furniture in disarray. He would tell them that Robert did it. Guests of the Ottos attest to seeing the doll's expression change right before their eyes.
Some people said that he was abusive towards her. And when he was confronted with his abuse, he'd say, "I didn't do it, Robert did it."
When Eugene died in 1974, the doll remained in an attic.
In the lease, there was a clause that said, "Robert must remain the sole occupant of the attic room." And that's when weird things started happening. There were some people who rented the house out, and they'd hear moving around upstairs. They'd hear footsteps running back and forth, things moving around. They'd go up into the attic, and they'd find Robert had moved from one side of the room to the other.
Until the house was purchased. The new family had a 10-year-old girl who became Robert's new owner. Soon after acquiring Robert, she became petrified at night, claiming that Robert was alive and had attempted to attack her. After 30 years, she still tells the story of how Robert the doll had tried to kill her. On one occasion, Robert was found giggling with a kitchen knife at the foot of the owner's bed. The family fled the home.
I certainly believe Robert is cursed. Now, whether that curse is man-made with our belief systems, I don't know.
The first time I was here taking photos of Robert, and I thought I want to get one without his hat on his head. As soon as I leaned up to move the hat, you could feel, it went from a simple-looking doll to where, boom, you could see life come into it. You could see life come into its eyes, and you could tell he did not want me touching his hat. I moved the hat, I tried to take the photo, the camera would not work. Snap, snap, it's doing nothing. I set the camera down, put his hat back on his head, camera went off 4 times.
The curse was intended to do damage on not only the family, but everybody who visits him as well.
The legacy of Robert the doll was the inspiration for the horror movie franchise Child's Play.
A lot of people talk about feeling a very negative heat energy around him. Other people claim to see him move within the case, change positions all on his own.
When you visit Robert, you see that there's almost an intelligence to him. Whether it's a soul was placed in him or transferred, I don't know, but something with Robert stands out more than just your ordinary curse.
They say, be careful of the objects you possess, or one day they might end up possessing you. And that seems to be the case with Robert.
Robert was eventually put in the East Martello Museum, where he remains to this day.